The Ashcroft estate stood on a hill overlooking the city, its glass walls glowing each evening like a palace built for royalty. Every luxury imaginable filled the mansion: marble floors, priceless paintings, sparkling fountains, and gardens that stretched farther than most people could walk in an hour. Yet despite all the wealth, the grand home felt strangely empty. The silence echoed through its endless hallways, broken only by the footsteps of employees who came and went faster than anyone could count. The reason was 8-year-old Lena Ashcroft. She was the only daughter of billionaire businessman Adrian Ashcroft, a man respected by the world for building one of the largest technology companies in the country. Newspapers praised his success, investors admired his intelligence, and competitors feared his determination. But behind the expensive suits and confident smile was a father who had been struggling ever since his wife, Emily, passed away 3 years earlier. Losing her had shattered the family in ways money could never repair. Lena had once been cheerful, curious, and full of laughter. She loved drawing pictures with her mother, baking cookies on weekends, and chasing butterflies across the gardens. After Emily's death, however, everything changed. The smiling little girl disappeared, replaced by a child who trusted no one and pushed everyone away before they could leave her first. The mansion became famous among domestic workers for one unusual reason. No maid lasted more than a week. Some quit after only a single day. One nanny discovered that every alarm clock in her room had been secretly set to ring throughout the night. Another found her shoes glued to the bedroom floor. A housekeeper opened a kitchen cabinet only to have hundreds of plastic balls pour over her head. One unfortunate cleaner spent an hour searching for the mansion keys, only to discover Lena had hidden them inside the family piano. None of the pranks were dangerous, but they were exhausting. The staff complained constantly. "It's impossible to work here," one maid muttered while packing her suitcase. "That child needs discipline," another whispered before leaving. Adrian tried everything he could think of. He hired experienced nannies, child psychologists, tutors, and caretakers from prestigious agencies. They all arrived with confidence, believing they would be the one to succeed. Every one of them failed. Each resignation letter felt like another reminder that he was losing his daughter little by little. One rainy Monday evening, while reviewing employee records in his office, Adrian noticed something unusual. The maintenance supervisor recommended hiring a temporary night janitor named Mason Cole. The position was simple: clean the hallways, maintain the building after business hours, and help with basic repairs until a permanent worker could be found. The salary wasn't impressive. The job wasn't glamorous. Still, Mason accepted without negotiation. When he arrived, nobody paid much attention to him. He wore simple work boots, faded jeans, and a plain maintenance uniform. A baseball cap shaded his face, and his cleaning cart looked no different from any other janitor's equipment. His calm eyes quietly observed everything around him, but he rarely spoke unless spoken to. The staff assumed he was just another cleaner trying to earn a paycheck. What they didn't know was that Mason had spent years serving as an elite Navy SEAL before retiring after countless dangerous missions. He had faced impossible situations around the world, rescued innocent people under enemy fire, and learned that patience often accomplished what force never could. Now his greatest mission wasn't on a battlefield. It was raising his 6-year-old son, Ethan, after losing his own wife to illness. Mason understood grief better than most people ever would. He recognized the loneliness hidden behind angry words because he had seen it in his own son. On his very first night, he pushed his mop bucket across one of the mansion's polished hallways when Lena appeared at the top of the staircase. She folded her arms and watched him with the same expression every new employee eventually learned to fear. Without saying a word, she tipped over a large bucket filled with bright blue paint. The liquid rushed across the marble floor, covering the spotless hallway in seconds. Several employees gasped. One maid whispered, "He's quitting before sunrise." The butler sighed, already imagining another resignation. Instead of shouting or showing frustration, Mason calmly leaned his mop against the wall, examined the enormous mess, and smiled. "Well," he said with surprising warmth, "looks like tonight's cleaning project just became a little more colorful." Lena blinked in confusion. She had expected anger. She had expected yelling. She had expected another adult to give up on her. Instead, the quiet janitor simply rolled up his sleeves, picked up another mop, and began cleaning as though nothing unusual had happened. For the first time in years, Lena didn't know what to do next. The next morning, everyone expected Mason Cole to hand in his resignation. After all, every maid, nanny, and cleaner before him had eventually reached their limit. Instead, Mason arrived right on time with a warm cup of coffee in one hand and his cleaning cart in the other. He greeted every employee with a smile and quietly began polishing the hallway that Lena had covered in blue paint the night before. It was as if the prank had never bothered him. Lena watched from behind a staircase, waiting for the moment he would finally lose his temper. It never came. Determined to chase him away, she planned even bigger tricks. She hid his mop, tied the wheels of his cleaning cart together with rope, and even filled a storage closet with balloons so they burst out the moment he opened the door. Every prank left the staff expecting an angry reaction. Instead, Mason laughed. "That's pretty creative," he said after the balloons bounced across the hallway. "You almost got me." Lena frowned. No adult had ever complimented her before. Days turned into weeks, and the strange battle continued. Mason never punished her. He never called her a spoiled child. Instead, he treated every prank as an opportunity to talk. While cleaning, he would tell funny stories about camping with his young son Ethan. He never mentioned his years as a Navy SEAL, believing those days belonged in the past. What mattered now was being a good father. One Saturday, Ethan came to visit the mansion while Mason finished his shift. Unlike the adults, Ethan wasn't afraid of Lena. He simply asked if she wanted to help build a cardboard castle from empty delivery boxes. At first, she rolled her eyes. "I'm not playing with you." "Okay," Ethan replied with a shrug. "I'll build it myself." Curiosity slowly defeated her pride. Within an hour, the three of them were laughing as the cardboard castle collapsed around them. Mason pretended to be trapped beneath the boxes, making both children burst into uncontrollable laughter. It was the first genuine laugh anyone had heard from Lena in years. From that day forward, the mansion slowly changed. The staff noticed Lena saying "thank you" to the cooks. She stopped hiding people's belongings. She even helped Mason sweep the hallways after school, pretending she only did it because she was bored. Adrian watched everything from a distance. He couldn't understand how a humble janitor had succeeded where highly trained specialists had failed. One evening, he asked Mason, "How did you do it?" Mason looked toward the garden where Lena and Ethan chased each other across the grass. "I didn't try to fix her," he answered quietly. "I just stayed." Sometimes children don't need perfect words. They need someone who refuses to leave. Those words struck Adrian deeply. For the first time since Emily's passing, he realized he had spent years trying to solve his daughter's pain instead of simply sharing it. That evening, Adrian joined Lena in the garden. They talked for hours about Emily, cried together, and remembered the happy moments they thought they had lost forever. Months later, the mansion no longer felt cold and silent. Laughter echoed through the halls again. Employees no longer feared coming to work, and Lena welcomed new staff members with kindness instead of tricks. On Mason's birthday, Lena handed him a small, handmade card. Inside, she had carefully written, "Thank you for being the hero who didn't give up on me." Mason smiled, his eyes filling with tears. He knelt beside her and replied softly, "Real strength isn't about winning battles. It's about staying beside the people who need you most." Adrian extended his hand to Mason. "You came here as a janitor," he said. "But you'll always be part of this family." As the sun set behind the Ashcroft mansion, the grand house finally became what it had always been missing, not just a place filled with wealth, but a home filled with love, forgiveness, and hope. Sometimes, the greatest heroes don't wear expensive suits or medals. Sometimes, they carry a mop, keep their promises, and never walk away from a child who simply needs someone to stay. The end.